today for us to work with. It's associated with the earth element, and today's practice really is around being grounded and centered and having a sense of stability, and with that also comes a sense of safety and calm. Now, these aren't going to be perfect. These are pilot videos, which a lot of clients and other people have been very kind to offer to give me some feedback. So please bear with me. I am my own recording and lighting expert here, and it is totally a learning curve for me. But hey, what's wrong with that? Because some of what we're going to do is going to be a learning curve for you. So I think we kind of could be on an equal footing. So I hope you've had a look at the breathing videos beforehand, but I will cue in some inhalations and exhalations. The breath is very much a part of how we move, and hopefully that will become a little clearer as we go through a few of the videos. Each video I'm going to include one Sanskrit word because if you're interested in this wonderful practice that I'm putting together with the psychotherapeutics and the yoga, then it may be really nice to introduce a little bit of this conventional yoga language to you. So today's word is uttanasana, and it means forward fold. So that's just one word, and maybe over time you'll pick up a little bit and you'll be interested. Also, we're going to work with a mudra. Now, a mudra is a way of a gesture with your hands. That's a good way to simplify it. And today's mudra I've chosen because it's about kind of grounding and calm and connecting. And it's a Dvimukaham. And you put your little finger and your third finger together and you keep your palms open. So we're going to start off today with some breathing to ground ourselves. And I want you to, before we start, feel your seat bones on the mat. Pop your hands into your mudra. Okay, so it's your Dvimukaham mudra. Just elongate a little bit of the spine, but don't make yourself rigid, because we don't really want any rigidness here. We want grounding, and we want a little bit of suppleness and movement when we can find it. Really tapping in to our bodies. Now, if you are okay with closing your eyes, then great. You can close your eyes with me. If not, just keep them half closed and we'll tap into the breathing for 5 rounds. So I want you to allow your legs to be heavy and your seat bones to be heavy on the ground. Just bring your shoulders up and drop them back down, and then offer your mudra here. Close your eyes. Just exhale all of the air out and inhale. Exhale. Feel the belly button go closer to the spine, and inhale, feeling up all the lungs and the belly expands, and exhale. Just let your body feel the earth. Inhale. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. And release the hands to the top of your thighs and open your eyes. Okay. Because we're working on stability and we're working on grounding, you will all know that there are various things that happen in our lives that completely throw that out of the window and we feel all over the place. And I want you to contemplate the fact that because we might be thrown all over the place, we might be able to find some stability or something that kind of roots us there, even in the fact things have changed shape, things have changed in our life, they're not where we expect them to be. So hold on to that thought as we move through the practice. So we're going to start off just by loosening up through the hips and the body a little bit here, and this it should be available to most people, what I'm doing today, but at any point in time anything pinches, it's painful, it's uncomfortable, then just release yourself and just sit and maybe wait until the next asana, which is the movement that we do, comes along, and then have a go at that. And you can always practice these things after the video, so at no point push yourself. Yoga should never be painful, and providing you take that into account, you never push yourself, you shouldn't get any injuries. Okay, so we're going to stir the pot. So this basically means we're going to, if you watch me, I'm going to take my body forward and drop my shoulders down and then bring my body back. And I'm imagining that I've got like a one of those wooden spoons attached to the middle. So let's do this together. I don't mind which way round you start. We're going to then swap it and go around the other way. So you're bending forward a little bit, but you're keeping some softness. You're getting this wooden spoon into your pot here. You're stirring the porridge. If you put your hands on your knees, it allows you to concentrate on dropping your shoulders down and bending your elbows, and just finding all these little nooks and crannies that are there as we start to move our body, keeping your seat bones really heavy on the floor. Coming up, and let's go to the other side. So going down, really that really thick porridge needs a really good stir. So moving into it, back, and this time maybe coming back a little bit more than what you imagined you would do. So coming back a little bit and then coming back down and around, and just one more, and coming upright and rest. Now we're going to do a little bit of a side stretch, so we're going to be stretching the sides of our body. So because I will be the other way round to you, when I'm lifting my right arm, it will be your left arm. So take that into consideration if I'm cueing right and left. So we'll start with our arms out to the side, and I want you to roll the shoulders and drop them down, and then take your fingers as far as they'll go and just drop them. I'm going to start with my right side, it will be your left, and I'm going to look towards my hand, turn it round, and with an inhale, I'm going to bring my arm up and stretch it over my head. So watch me first. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, let's do this together. Now you might not stretch as far as me, and I'll try not to go as far as I can go because I know it's tempting to follow me. Let these hips be heavy, knees be heavy, seat bones on the floor. Look towards your left hand, it'll be my right hand, turn it over, and a big inhale, watch your hand up and over. As if you're picking fruit off the tree, bend the opposite elbow, and a lovely side body stretch. And exhale, and back to the side. Let's do another two. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. And come to center. Okay, let's go to the other side for 3 rounds. So looking towards what will be now your right hand, turn your palm around, and a big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And now we come to my first technical hitch, because my lighting is flashing because it's overheating. So I'm going to stop here and start again in a minute. Okay, I'm back with you. I've switched my light off and we're down to natural lighting. So as long as the sun doesn't come round and a cloud comes over it and I suddenly get illuminated, we might get somewhere. So we just did our little side stretch, which, I mean, I hope you can feel how that is just such a lovely, yummy thing. And we don't, it's interesting, isn't it, how we don't move our bodies in certain ways. There's things that we do as a standard practice of moving around, etc. But the great thing about yoga is that it makes us tap into every little bit of essence of ourselves. And I think there's a synergy here with therapy and counselling, because sometimes we have to find that other little bit that we've never contemplated. We have to reframe it. We see things in a completely different light, and somehow we have other opportunities. You know, a lot of being secure and stable is being able to be okay in ourselves. And yoga is fantastic for making you stay in the moment, because as you progress in yoga, if you cannot stay in the moment and you cannot connect to your breath, it's actually quite difficult to actually maintain some stability in the asanas going forward. And because we're doing the breathing element to this too, breathing really controls our nervous system. So those clients that work with me would know about the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, and we don't want to be in the sympathetic, because that's fight, flight, that's anxiety, that's feeling dreadful in our bodies. We want to be connected to the parasympathetic nervous system. So at this point, it's great for me to bring in this tiny little really, it's not a movement even, but it's something that we can bring in that stimulates the vagus nerve. So when I work with you in this therapeutic yoga, we're going to look at stimulating the vagus nerve at times in various ways. Now this is a really easy thing to do, and stimulating the vagus nerve is great because it helps us connect into the parasympathetic, and this is this lovely bit of wiring in our autonomic nervous system, which is often called rest and digest. So that can't be bad. Who doesn't like to digest their food and rest? And you know, you can't do that if you're anxious and you're running around and being chased. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about making a sound a bit like a bumblebee, because this is called Bumblebee Breath. So imagine a bumblebee, it's like, and we're going to put our hands over our ears as we make this sound, mouth closed, with our exhale. So if you just watch me first, and I'm going to demonstrate the bumblebee breath. So I'm going to inhale. Now I can hear it really loudly in my head, and this is what stimulates the vagus nerve. And it's really interesting because the yogis, you will probably be familiar with the fact that you take a big inhale and and there's the similarity. And how did they know this? This ancient kind of philosophy and wisdom and way of being at one with yourself. They didn't have anything to scan the brains and look at all the neurology and the stuff that goes with it. We do now, and we know that stimulating that vagus nerve is really helpful for grounding, staying calm, for being content in ourselves, for feeling secure. It's part of what we can do. So join me in a bumblebee breath. So a big inhale, hands to your ears. And and release. It's a strange sound, isn't it? And you don't want to make it too loud because actually you can really hear it. But if you feel a bit tense, you feel a bit anxious, and you're in somewhere where people won't be looking at you with your hands on your ears, you might want to practice that one. Okay, so we've done our side stretch. What we're going to do is bring in the breath with some movement. So I want you to bring your hands to your chest. If you're not into doing a prayer hand gesture, then I'm fine with you closing your fingers, and you can just bring your thumbs to your sternum. And what we're going to do a really big inhale, and we're going to take our hands away from us and around and behind our backs. And then we're going to keep our hands behind our backs in this position. I'm going to exhale, and then on the next inhale, we're going to pull away like this. So we'll be bringing like our scapulas together. and then we'll release and come back to the front. So you might want to watch me for the first one, or you can join in if you think that all makes perfect sense to you. So bring the hands to the heart space, and with a big inhale, behind, exhale, and inhale, exhale, bring the hands back to the chest slowly. And we'll do this 2 more times. Inhale. Gently exhale. Inhale, shoulder blades together, open the chest. Exhale, bring the hands slowly back to the front. And one more time. And rest. How does that feel? Now, inhaling as we expand and exhaling normally when we fold, or we, in any way that we're folding our body over, is good to try and remember. I'll try and cue you in when we need to do that. So we're going to practice the inhale and exhale in a slightly different way. So we're going to go into what's called a staff pose. So come onto your mats like this. Again, this is about grounding. Bring the shoulders up, drop them down, hands on the top of your thighs. What can you feel? Can you feel your seat bones on the floor? Can you feel your heels? Can you feel the backs of your thighs? Can you make yourself just a tiny bit taller? As if you had, you know, the top of the acorns, they have a little pointy bit. Just imagine you've got that on the top of your head, and can you kind of just come up a little bit? But at the same time you come up a little bit, can you drop your shoulders back and down? Now we're going to take the hands out to the side, a little bit like we did with the side stretch, and we're going to inhale and come up, and then as we exhale we're going to fold forward. So watch me for the first one. So inhale, inhale back and rest. Hands out to the side. Let's do this together. Turn the palms upwards, inhale. Turn the hands around, fold forward, exhale. Inhale. And rest. And once more. Out to the side, turn the palms, inhale. Exhale. You may come to your toes, you may only come here, it doesn't matter. Exhale, stroke the hands back up the legs and rest. Okay, let's come on to all fours now. Now for this we want to have our shoulders above our wrists, so not too over here and not too far back here, and we want to have our hips above our knees, and your hands are shoulder width apart and your knees are kind of hip width apart in a natural position. So we're going to do the inhale and exhale in what's called cat-cow, and the cat is dropping the belly and the cat is coming up and the cow is dropping the belly. So we're going to start with a big inhale and drop our belly, and then rounding and an exhale, and an inhale, drop the belly, and an exhale, rounding the back, push your way out the fingers. And one more.
Now, while we're still in this position here, we'll just take a neutral spine. And what I want you to explore with is how we can be balanced even though we've changed something. So looking towards the front of your mat, maybe you can raise your left arm up in line with your ear, and you still feel pretty stable. And drop that one down, and try the same with the right. Reach the fingers there out, and drop it down. Now what happens when we do the same with our leg without trying to fall onto the other knee too much or leg? So what happens when we stretch out our right leg? Push away at the heel. Try to keep the back straight so you're not folding over. And then try the same with the other leg. Just feel it out. Feel and push and stretch. Push out of your hands. Try to stay as straight as you can in your spine. And release and bring it down. Okay, from this position we're going to do something that might feel a little bit strange, but I really want to give you the idea that actually stability is possible where you think it isn't. And sometimes we have to practice it. So it's like in the counselling, you know, things are new. We have to have these ways of connecting with ourselves and others and situations that maybe are different but can produce reward. So from here I want you to slowly walk back here towards your knees. Now hands to the floor, come onto your toes and slowly push yourself up onto your toes and open the knees nice and wide. Now, it's not a normal position to be in, is it? On our toes. But you know, maybe we can find something here, some balance here. So first of all, take one hand off the mat and put it on your knee. Try and keep your back relatively straight, but don't lean back. And then see, what does it feel like to take the other hand off? Can you balance here in this extraordinary position that maybe you've not tried before? And if you fall over, as I do frequently when I'm practicing things, and if I do fall over, I will leave it in the videos because I am not Superwoman, you know, I lose my balance. We all lose our balance, so there's no harm in that. Just start again, it's all good. So let's try this again. So one hand on the knee. This is where you need the focus. Look, it's just beyond the end of your mat. Find a nice position to focus on and bring your hands up. You may be a bit wobbly, this is absolutely fine. If you feel that you can, stretch up a little bit, straighten your back, and hands to the mat, down to the knees. And just bring your legs to the side. And let's just have a little rest for a moment. I find it incredible how my clients manage to conquer all sorts of adversity, and sometimes they have been going through the most extraordinary sensations and feelings and mental anguish and physical manifestations of that, and absolutely managed to find this position of grounding and stability and calm again. And the thing is, life's always going to throw things at us, so the better we are at calming ourselves, grounding ourselves, the more we can make interventions into the aspects that are really uncomfortable. So I will encourage you to practice some of this grounding. The exercise on the toes, you don't have to do that on a regular basis. It's more of a demonstration. It's the fact that you'd be surprised what you can find in places you didn't think you could find it, and how exceptional you are, because as human beings we're pretty amazing, and often we lose that. We lose focus on the fact that actually we're okay, we're good. So we're going to go back onto all fours now, and we're going to do a little bit of movement through some transitions, some quite simple ones, and I'm going to go slowly for you. So come back around onto all fours. So you know this. Make sure that you've got pretty neutral back to start with here, and then we're going to stretch our legs out and we're going to go into a plank. Okay, from the plank we're slowly going to go down to the mat, and there's several ways of doing this. So the first time we do it, I want you to drop the knees and then lower yourself slowly as you bend your elbows, your forehead to the mat. Untuck your toes. Feel the tops of your feet on the mat. Feel your hip bones on the mat. And make sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders and your elbows in. And we're going to inhale and we're going to raise our head and our shoulders a little off the mat for our first cobra. So inhale and come up. Exhale, come down gently. And one more, feel and push into the tops of your feet and into your pubic bone and your hips as you inhale to come up. And let's see if you find that easier. So exhale out and inhale and exhale. From here, untuck your toes. Raise your kneecaps, because if your kneecaps are down here, it's harder to get up. So raise the kneecaps here. Get your elbows into your side and push yourself up into your first downward dog. Now, pedal this out. Find some movement in this downward dog. Okay, so just like as if you were walking along, get the knees down, the hips out. And just enjoy that sensation through the spine. Just make your own shapes, and then when you're ready, come to some stillness. Now we're going to bring one foot forward between our hands, and I'm going to start with my right foot. And to bring it forward without it getting stuck, we need to come forward a little bit as if we were going into plank, and we need to look ahead as we bend our right knee and bring our right knee up to the front of the mat. Once the knee is up here, find your stability and lower the other knee. Open the chest, go onto fingertips and feel that stretch. You'll feel the stretch here. And just feel it out. And then we're going to raise the left knee and come back just a little as we step forward to the top of the mat. From the top of the mat, we're going to come up halfway with a nice straight back. And then we're going to come back down to the mat. And this time we're going to bring our left foot back. No, we're not. I lied to you. Come back to the front of the mat. I told you I'm not cutting anything out of these videos. You take your right foot back and lower your right knee. Okay, up onto the fingertips. Take a nice breath in. Feel that stretch in the back of this right leg this time. And when you're ready, raise the right knee. A little bit back to come forward to the front of your mat. And from here, open your arms, inhale. Come up. Bring your hands to your chest. And then with another big inhale, come up and turn the hands as if you're painting the wall and come back down to the mat. And this is your Uttanasana, or forward fold. And now you're in forward fold, I want you to hold your elbows and just have a little bit of a dangle around here. Keep a light, gentle bend in your knees. Let the head drop down. And then when you're ready, find stillness. Bring your hands to the mat. Step back with both feet into your plank. This time, see if you can come down without dropping the knees to the mat. So coming down to your mat. Untuck the toes. Hands underneath the shoulders. Feel for the back of the feet. Feel into your hip bones. As you inhale, come up into cobra. Exhale, back to the mat. untuck your toes, raise the knees, push up into downward dog, and walk to the front of your mat. Take hold of the elbows, and in Uttanasana, forward fold, just feel those hip sockets and allow yourself to be heavy. And now see when you drop your hands, are your hands going closer to the mat than they were first time? And bending the knees, coming up with a big inhale. Right up to the sky, hands to the heart. And now we're going to go back down to the floor. Okay. I'm going to start off on our front. And this, I think I might have spoken to you about having a block at some point. So if you need to go and get a block, if you've got one, it's a good time to go and get it now. And we're going to come round and we're going to lie on our front with both of our arms out to the side. So this will be interesting because I don't want to squash my microphone. I don't know if I'm meant to move it or not, but we'll soon find out. So we're going to start off with your right cheek on the floor. Feel your knees on the floor. Feel your hands on the floor. Actually really feel it. Can you let yourself go heavy? Heavy, heavy, heavy. Drop yourself almost as if you were trying to lose yourself into the floor here for a moment. Now once you feel nice and stable here, I want you to bring if your right hand is out to the side, bring your left hand in front of you with your elbow bent, and then roll onto your right hip and take your left leg over the back. Now this is going to give you a lovely opening, kind of helping you open your right shoulder, but it's also helping you have a very gentle twist in the spine while you're well supported. Now if it's possible and you feel comfortable, take that hand and just leave it behind your back. Stay on your toes here because I don't want you to flatten the foot because it's too much of a stretch. And then when you're ready, bring the hand back and the leg back over and swap sides. So now you're on the other cheek. First of all, feel the ground beneath you. When you're ready, bring your right leg over and your right foot on your toe. And if it feels, don't try this if you feel a bit wobbly, but if it feels really stable, bring the hand behind the back. Probably exposing all my wiring now, which is probably very delightful for you. I will get better at this, I promise, as I go along. And then release, hand first. Roll onto your front. Now while we're on our front, the power of the breath is quite incredible. So we've already practiced what it's like to take our hands behind our back and pull away. So we've done this exercise here where we've pulled our shoulder blades together and pulled away. So we're going to combine the inhaling, the lifting our shoulders off of the mat slightly, while we're pulling our arms towards the back of the mat and up. So if you watch me first, I'm going to exhale and inhale and exhale. Now make sure that you bring your belly a little bit towards your spine here so that you're helping support your back. And inhale and exhale and release. Pushing up onto your knees, bring your legs to the side, and we're going to come onto our backs. We're now bringing ourselves slowly towards the end of our practice. And we're going to do a little exercise just to stimulate that vagus nerve again. So I'd like you to find your block if you've got one, and make sure that when you bend your knees, you've got an idea of where they will go if you put your block there. So just make sure you've got an idea. If you don't have a block, you could use a pile of books for this, but or some cushions underneath it, so you can improvise. So I'm going to put my block there so I can demonstrate to you. So arms out to the side, so like a Texas T. And we're going to inhale, and on the exhale, because when you twist, you exhale. So on the inhale, exhale, drop the knees to the side. Now gently breathing, you can do gentle inhales and exhales while you're in this position. Turn your head the opposite way to your knees. So your head, knees are to the left, your head will turn to the right and look at your right hand. And while you've got your head here to the right, drop your eyes to the right towards the mat. And inhale to come back. Swap your block over if you need to. And this time you'll drop your knees to the other side. So inhale, and on an exhale, drop the knees. Look in the opposite direction. Take your eyes to the left, towards the left as well to your mat. Inhale, come back up. And just bring the knees up and just have a little play around here with the knees. Go one way and then the other. I'm just going to move my microphone back here before I do the next asana with you. Otherwise I think I might squash it. Okay, I think we're safe. And now, with the knees bent, we're going to do what's called happy baby. So you're going to bring your feet up, and you're going to see if you can get hold of those feet with your hands. If you can't get hold of your feet, don't worry, get hold of your trouser legs or whatever you happen to be wearing. But if you can get hold of your feet, even better. And now in this position, I want you to relax and let your thighs become really, really heavy. Your knees are bent. If you want it to be a bit wider, depending on your hips, everybody's hip sockets are different, find a comfy position. And just tap into your breath. And slowly, slowly, bringing your feet back down to the mat, stretching your legs out. And we come into savasana. Now, if you're anything like I was at the beginning of yoga, when I watched it on videos, probably much more professional ones than this, I might add, I used to skip savasana because I thought, oh, I don't need that bit, it's just lying down. Please don't skip it, because actually I learned that we really need that bit. So I want you to feel yourself as if you were melting into the ground. Put your hands by your side with your palms facing up. And now I want you to let your feet fall to the side. Don't hold your feet. Starting with the top of your head. Just feel the heaviness of your head on the ground. And then working down just as if, you know, maybe I was just running warm water over you as we're doing this, and it feels so warm and melty, that kind of gentle, flowy feeling. Let your shoulders melt into your mat, into the ground. Just feel the flow as if your arms were hose pipes, and imagine the water flowing out of your fingers and beyond. Gentle, gentle flow, not holding. Make sure each finger is released, your thumb is released. Relax the chest. And as you breathe, can you feel the breath as if you're breathing into the earth? And those hip sockets and the seat bones, as if I'd come along with the WD-40 and given them all a really good squirt. Let them go, let it relax. Can you feel that pelvis open a little bit as you just release yourself? Try to trust that that earth, that mat it's there, you can fall into it. And the same feeling through the arms, allow the sensation as if your legs were these hose pipes with this warm, delicious water flowing down the legs and out of the toes as if it melts your feet. It lets your kneecaps kind of soften. And now gently breathe. And I'm going to be quiet now for a few minutes, and I just want you to fall into the ground, rooted and supported until you hear the sound for us to come back into the room. slowly wiggling your fingers and wiggling your toes, and just gently preparing yourself to come back into the room. Gently opening your eyes and coming on to one side. Just stay there for a moment. You've been lying on your back for a while. And when you're ready, sitting up and coming back onto the mat and into the room. And thank you for joining me today in our root chakra practice and MindMat yoga. Have a lovely day. See you soon.